Twinborn are those lucky individuals from Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn series who are born with one Allomantic ability and one Feruchemical ability. You guys requested that I do a tier list ranking all 256 combinations of Twinborn. At first I thought that sounded crazy. That's just way too many combinations to rank in one video. But then I thought about it some more and decided to do it in a series of videos. So this series will be made up of around 15 videos, and in each of these videos I'll be ranking 16 different Twinborn combinations. I already tier ranked all the compounder combinations in my last tier list video, so if you haven't watched that yet, be sure to check that out. Some of the names of these Twinborn combinations that you'll see in these videos come from the Mistborn RPG Alloy of Law rulebook, but other names were created by me and some of the other users in the Discord server. So if you want to help name future Twinborn combinations for these videos, be sure to join the Discord. Without further ado, let's start ranking some Twinborn combinations. The first type of Twinborn we'll be ranking is Silver Tongue. Silver Tongues can use Allomantic brass to soothe the emotions of people around them, and they can also use Feruchemical Bind Alloy to store energy in the form of nutrition. So they can eat as much food as they want and just store all those calories in a Bind Alloy mind. And they can do the same thing with liquids to then tap and pull into themselves later. So they can go for a very long time without needing to eat or drink. I don't think this is necessarily a good combination. They don't really add to one another. They're pretty good abilities though. Being able to soothe emotions, that can help you in social situations. It can also help you with manipulating people, for instance. They're both good powers on their own, but they don't really enhance one another. I think I'll put Silver Tongue in middle of the road. I should clarify that I'm ranking these from the viewpoint of a Twinborn who only has access to these two powers. So no hemalurgic spikes and no accessing powers from other worlds or anything like that. They only have these two powers. Next up, we have Luckshot. Luckshots can burn Allomantic steel to push on metal sources around them, and they can also store fortune in chromium mines. This is actually a really good combination. I could see a Luckshot using their metal projectiles, pushing them out towards enemies, kind of just spraying them randomly, but since they're drawing on their fortune, maybe more of those shots would hit than they would normally. I could also see this being useful if the Luckshot is soaring through the air, pushing on coins or bullet casings beneath them, and then if they run out of metal sources to push on, instead of falling to the ground and breaking bones and potentially dying, maybe they could tap their fortune and land in such a way that they don't get injured. The Mistborn RPG rulebook says that Luckshots have the reputation of being death-defying and dangerous. I will put Luckshot in S tier. Next up, we have Predator. Predators can use Allomantic bronze to hear Allomantic pulses, and they can store physical strength in pewter mines. When I think of this combination, I picture somebody that can track down Allomancers and just be relentless in their pursuit. Thanks to their Feruchemy, they have the physical strength to just climb over obstacles and knock people out of their way if they need to. And of course, once they track down their Allomancer target, they could just beat them to a pulp. So being a Predator would be a pretty good Twinborn combination, but it's not S tier. I think I'll put it in A tier. I think I would still rather be a Predator than a Silver Tongue. The next Twinborn on our list is Ladybug. Ladybugs can burn Allomantic aluminum to wipe internal Allomantic reserves, and they can store fortune in their chromium mines. So their Allomantic power is pretty useless. Aluminum mistings and duralumin mistings are known as gnats. That's why we're playing off of that gnat name and going with other bug names for any Twinborn with Allomantic aluminum or duralumin. It would be pretty annoying to be lucky enough to be born a Twinborn, but one of the powers that you have is basically useless. A Ladybug is basically just a glorified chromium fairing. Now, aluminum allomancy does seem to have some practical uses. There's a wob here where the questioner asked, if you're on Threnody and you get withered by a shade, are you better off burning Allomantic aluminum or tapping Feruchemical gold? Brandon answers that both would work pretty well, but burning the aluminum would probably be safer and would negate the withering effect. So it seems that burning aluminum can help negate the effects of other types of investiture. So for that reason, I'm not gonna put Ladybug in D tier. I'll put it in C tier. D tier will almost exclusively be used for Twinborn that have duralumin as their allomantic ability. Next up, we have Sentinel. Sentinels can use Allomantic bronze to hear Allomantic pulses, and they can store their senses in tin mines. The Mistborn RPG rulebook says that Sentinels have the reputation of being masters of all 6 senses. So that is really cool. They can enhance the 5 senses that all humans have: sight, touch, hearing, smell, taste. But Sentinels also have access to a 6th sense that most people have no access to. So I could see a Sentinel being a great detective on Scadrial. I imagine that a lot of crimes involve Allomancers as the criminals, and the Sentinel would be perfect for tracking down those criminals. They would be really good on a crime scene too. I mean, they could enhance their sight to see details that other people miss. They could enhance their hearing to eavesdrop on conversations, which would give them access to information that they might not get otherwise. Yeah, so it would be perfect for a detective or anybody else that has to rely on their senses and their observation skills. I think that's a really good combination to have. So I think I'll put Sentinel in S tier as well. I'm gonna put it above Luckshot. Next up, we have Shadowheart. Shadowhearts can use Allomantic copper to hide Allomantic pulses, and they can also store determination in Electrum mines. So this would actually be a pretty good combination. It would basically boost a typical copper misting known as smokers. It would give them the ability to be pretty much fearless. This type of Twinborn would be somebody you would want to have around if you were going on a high stakes mission. They wouldn't back down from a fight. Maybe you're going on an extremely dangerous mission like Vin and Kelsier did in Mistborn Era 1 when they infiltrated Kredik Shaw. Having a Shadowheart along covering you with their copper allomancy would be great. It's not really an amazing combination though. I think I'll put it in B tier above Silvertongue. Actually, on second thought, I'm putting it in B tier, but I'm putting it behind Silvertongue. All right, next up we have Veilmener. This is another Twinborn with Allomantic copper. So they can use their Allomantic copper to hide Allomantic pulses, and they can use their Feruchemical gold to store health in their gold mines, and then draw on that health at later times to heal rapidly. This would be a pretty good combination for a smoker, I think. If you had them in your safe house and they were just constantly burning their copper, maybe your safe house gets infiltrated and they're attacked, they could take a lot of damage before they're dealt with and their copper cloud is snuffed out. I would say it's the type of Twinborn that you would want to have around just to hang out in your safe house. The 2 powers don't really boost each other in any way, so I think I'm gonna have to put it in, I'll put it in A tier because I mean the Feruchemical gold is still really good. I'm gonna put it in A tier behind Predator. The hiding Allomantic pulses is good. I mean, it also makes you immune to emotional allomancy, so that is a pretty good benefit too. It's kind of hard to rank these. Next up, we have Daydreamer. Daydreamers can use their Allomantic Electrum to reveal their own future, and they can use their Feruchemical bronze to store wakefulness. These 2 powers aren't really that useful, even when combined. They definitely don't play off of one another. Yeah, really cool name for this one though. This is one of the names that one of the Discord users came up with. But yeah, I'm gonna have to rank Daydreamer pretty low. It's gonna be above Ladybug, of course, but I think it has to go in C tier. Next up, we have Anticipator. Anticipators can use their Allomantic Electrum to once again reveal their future, and they can use their Feruchemical cadmium to store breath. So once again, this isn't really a good combination at all. They don't build on one another. This one's also gonna go in C tier. It's gonna go behind Daydreamer. Next up, we have Charger. Chargers use their Allomantic Nigrosyl to enhance the Allomantic burn of targets, and they use their Feruchemical bronze to store wakefulness. Charger Twinborn would be a great support person to have on your team if your team's made up of a bunch of Allomancers. They can use their Allomantic Nigrosyl to boost the allomancy of everybody else on the team. The Charger could continually help support the team even when other members have to go sleep and people are being rotated in and out. They could stay up for days helping the battle. So I think this is actually a pretty good combination. I'll put Chargers up here at the top of A tier. Next up, we have Enabler. Enablers also can use Allomantic Nigrosyl to enhance the Allomantic burn of targets, and they can use their Feruchemical duralumin to store their connection, and then they can draw on that connection at a later time, and they'll seem very charismatic to everybody around them. An Enabler would also be pretty good in a support role on a team of Allomancers. Everybody on the team would probably love having them around thanks to their Feruchemical duralumin, and of course they can boost the allomancy of the other people on the team, but I definitely don't think they're as good as the Charger. Their powers don't really work together. They're gonna go mid B tier, between Silver Tongue and Shadowheart. Next up, we have Pacifier. Pacifiers can use their Allomantic brass to soothe emotions, and they can use their Feruchemical duralumin to store connection. This name is actually from the Mistborn RPG rulebook, and their reputation is that they are excellent peacemakers. So yeah, they would be the ultimate person to calm down a heated situation. They could just tap their duralumin mind and draw on that connection and charm everybody around them. And then they can use their Allomantic brass to soothe the emotions of those around them. They could be master manipulators, to be honest. I could see them being a really good con artist. They could probably make a living that way, depending on if they're morally against that or not. Yeah, they would probably be pretty good spies even. They could store their connection in their duralumin mind. While they're actively storing in that duralumin mind, it reduces other people's awareness and friendship with them. They could definitely use it for infiltrating places and making people not even notice them. And then whenever they need to turn on that charm, they start drawing on that connection and start soothing the emotions of those around them. They could use it to get any information they want. I think they could also be really good interrogators. This is a great combination right here. Pacifier is going to be the first Twinborn combination that we're ranking as busted. Next up, we have Vigilant. Vigilant Twinborn can use their Allomantic tin to increase their senses, and they can store determination in their Feruchemical electrum minds. I'm trying to think if these powers synergize one another in any way. I mean, according to the Ars Arcanum of the Lost Metal, storing your determination makes you enter a depressed state, and drawing on that determination at a later time puts you in a manic phase. I don't really see how that would help you when you're increasing your senses. I don't think they complement one another really at all, so let me know in the comments if I'm just missing a good combination for these powers, but I'm gonna have to put it pretty far down here. I'm gonna put it in C tier. I mean, the Allomantic ability is pretty good, even on its own, but the Feruchemical ability just isn't that great. All right, next up we have Watchtower, which is another Twinborn with Allomantic tin abilities. So they can increase their senses with their Allomantic tin, and they can store their physical strength in their pewter minds. I think this one, when compared to Vigilant, this one is a lot better. This combination of powers kind of reminds me of what Spook had in the Hero of Ages when he had that hemalurgic spike that gave him the power to burn Allomantic pewter, and he was already a 10-eye. I think a Watchtower Twinborn could get to that same level of fighting ability that Spook had, where he became a savant with his tin. So he could literally hear the movements of people because of the shifting of the air, and he could dodge attacks. And then he could use his increased strength with the pewter to really pack a punch. So yeah, I think for combat purposes, this is a pretty good combination. I know that Feruchemical pewter is quite a bit different than Allomantic pewter, because you actually decrease your muscle mass when you store, and you increase your muscle mass when you draw on that strength. So if you draw on too much strength, then you're just going to be a giant ball of muscle, and it's going to be difficult to walk around. But yeah, I think Watchtower is a good combination. It's definitely not busted, but it might be S tier. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to put it in S tier, but it's going to go low S tier for me. Okay, next up we have High Roller. High Rollers can use their Allomantic zinc to riot the emotions of others, and they can use their Feruchemical chromium to store fortune. This is one of them that was named in the Mistborn RPG rules book. High Rollers have the reputation of turning everything into a high-stakes gamble. I think High Roller Twinborn is another example of a Twinborn type that could get almost anything they want. They can already manipulate people with just their Allomantic ability by choosing the right emotion to riot, but their Feruchemical chromium gives them the ability to increase their luck. They would be especially dangerous in a poker match or any type of gambling match. They could probably riot the emotions of the other players to get them to go all in during times when they really shouldn't. Maybe they could riot their fear to make them fold when they actually have something good. I don't know. It seems like it's a pretty good combination though. Man, it's not busted though, I don't think. Maybe it is. Fortune and rioting emotions. Is that busted? No, I think I'm going to put it at the very top of S tier because I see what's coming next. Our last type of Twinborn combination on the list is Zealot. Zealots can use their Allomantic zinc to riot the emotions of others, and they can use their Feruchemical duralumin to store connection. This is extremely similar to the Pacifier. This is another one that was named in the Mistborn RPG rules book. The reputation of Zealot Twinborn is that they are frighteningly persuasive. Everything that I said about the Pacifier is basically the same for the Zealot because you can use zinc and brass in basically the same way. For instance, if you want to make somebody feel angry with brass, you just soothe every other emotion other than anger. Whereas with zinc, you just riot anger and make that person feel anger more than their other emotions. These two Twinborn types could accomplish basically the same goals. So I'm going to put it right up there in Busted, right beside Pacifier. All right, guys, there is my ranking for these 16 Twinborn combinations. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. So now we've ranked the 16 compounder types and these 16 types, which means that we only have 224 types left to rank. That's not much at all, right? Right? If you guys want to see me do the other 14 parts of this series and tier rank all 256 Twinborn types, make sure you give the video a like and leave a comment letting me know that you want to see more. If you enjoy my content, consider supporting the channel by either becoming a patron or a channel member. You'll also get access to exclusive content like all of the graphics I use in these tier list videos and other perks. I'll link those down in the description below. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.